Alright, these are some of the parts that we're going to be dealing with in this final lesson of the assembly. These are the T-tracks. Some are a little bit longer than the rest, so you'll see how that applies in a few minutes. These are the parts for the Hanksler kit, and we're going to get started on assembly. So first thing we need to do is mate these two halves of the rail, and we're just going to the T-tracks, and we're just going to glue them centered on the thing like that. I usually put it on each end and then a little in the center. Just make sure that it stays pretty much centered. Okay, and repeat 5 more times. Alright, so here's your assembled T-tracks. We're not going to install these on the barrel yet though, because for authenticity these should be painted with rubberized black paint, because on the real prop these were made of rubber. So if you want complete authenticity, paint these with a rubberized paint. And as far as the rest of the model, I use a satin black rather than a matte black, because I believe on the plastic the satin gives the correct-ish look. I think the matte is too flat. Alright, so now we can start on this Hanksler. I've already cleaned everything up with my with everything that needs cleaning up with my sanding sticks. You can't really get in here with the details, so don't even try. This is the bottom of the numerator portion. So this is the number plate, and this is got to go this way where this, so the spring. This is a spring. So we're going to put this in there like that, and we're going to glue that in place. Sure that's dry. We want to go ahead and resand this to make sure that this gets a really nice fit. Glue that in place. We want to try not to get too much glue over here. It might interfere with that. Alright, so this is supposed to be a separate piece, so if you see a little gap there, it's not a big deal. But I still like to sand mine in. You got that super glue in there that's going to attach to this dust and fill that crack right in. If you need to, you can put a little bit more in that crack. It does kind of mess your sandpaper up pretty quick though. But you can see how it filled that right in. You can't even feel that. So that's ready for paint. Alright, so the button works. Alright, so now we can tear out that support structure in here. This is hollow because see how that fits. There, that fits together beautifully. Alright, so I'll go ahead and glue that in place. Alright, now in the front, you'll see two holes, a small one and a large one. And You take this mounting plate, it should fit into the smaller hole right there, and just go ahead and glue that in place. This radiator looking thing, that'll match up with that hole, the other size hole there. So just put a little bit. Then we'll take this sonic sensor, and it just gets centered with the flush, the top flush up there like that. I know these little legs hang down, okay? Alright, before we put the pins in there, we'll do everything else because that's the delicate stuff. So let's go ahead and see if we can put some numbers in here. It comes with this plate here, 3 of each number, and then a C, T, K, D, S, and B. And you can just snap these letters apart and make whatever number you want to go in there. And you can put the letters too, if you want, for your TK number, or whatever your number is. Alright, so we'll just break these apart. There's the 1. We're going to need the zeros. Alright, so the numbers, once you get them all broken apart, you can pretty much just pick them up with the end of your knife and stick them in there. We're going to put our whole number in there to see how it fits. I only got 4 digits, so I need a minimum 2 zeros, so that works out well. So 0, 0, 1. Okay, so they almost fit perfectly. So what I'm going to do is just shave the sides of a few of these with the stick. Ah, they all went flying. All right, so what I did was I used my sanding stick, and I did it on the 1s because it's a narrower number, so I narrowed the sides of that. Now I got the 6 digits to fit there perfectly, and from what I understand, you can even make it fit 7 if you sand enough of the edges on these little tiny tiles. So now that I got that set up the way I want it, I'm going to go ahead and glue those in place. Alright, so I got that in there. Reset button works. Alright, so let's go ahead and show you where this thing mounts. These holes are there pretty much just for reference to line up these brackets with. You don't really need to put any screws in there. It's not visible. So we'll take the scope from lesson 1, and these brackets, after you clean them up, they will go off to the left in those positions right there. So let's test fit these. That one fits good. And then we will glue this Hanksler to that right where those holes are. And we'll hold that until it dries. I'm filming this out of sequence too, that's why this don't have a grip on it yet. But you'll see the hole in the tab, the hole and this tab right there in the middle barrel. You might have to touch this up, well, you probably will definitely have to touch this up with some sandpaper and get it to fit in there just right until it fits in nice and smooth. And then this goes in the back here, and that gets secured with, you'll have to drill a little hole through there, or the screw itself might do it. That other Phillips head bevel head screw goes in there. Power cylinders. Let's go ahead and put the caps on these. We got some stuff in there to clear away. And these are the caps that go in there, and they have little holes in them that accommodate this this simulated wire. This is some of the filament that I use in the manufacturing process. I just heat it up and bend it around a mandrel. So we'll make these simulated wires. So when I put this cap on, I like to situate that artificial terminal toward the top up here, so the wires are easier to get at. Alright, so let's go ahead and glue those in place. Remember I was telling you about, you can still see it sometimes, but you can't really feel it, so this is going to take paint real well, because I can't feel that. Alright, so we'll got to glue this to the top of the alright, so you got a mag release button here. Let's go ahead and glue that in place. And it just goes in that hole. Doesn't matter which way it's oriented. And then these power cylinders, you should mount to where that button is still accessible, otherwise it's not realistic looking. So I'd say somewhere right around there. So let's go ahead and glue that in place. I'll just put a couple of drops of glue on this. It doesn't hold a lot of stress on it, so. And then just make sure that they're going straight. Alright, now these little simulated wires, here's a trick that I like to do, is grab it with some hemostats, or you can use anything you want, you know, and then use a lighter. And I'll use a lighter and I'll just heat that up. You don't want to go overboard. See how it's already, that's all it takes. Alright. When we need our little terminals right here, we can break those off of that circle. And then just clean that up a little bit with the sanding stick, so they fit in there. And they should fit right into a little square hole inside of this thing. Perfect. Alright, let's go ahead and glue those in place. Alright, so we're only going to glue them on this end, and that's why the hole fits so well on that one. Alright, so let's go ahead and then just make sure they're oriented the way you want them. Okay. And then we'll take that we straightened out, right? We'll stick it right in that hole. But let's go ahead and glue this in place on this end. Well, actually, I'm going to shorten this a little bit. place until it dries. Yeah, see? Real easy to mess up here. Been melted, so I need to just clean it up a little bit so it'll fit in that hole. Okay, so as you can see, after you glue those there, you can fit the ends right into the back of the power cylinders. And it's also now removable with that one screw back here, and then you just pop these out. Take this up out there. Okay. All right. So at this point, we've assembled the entire blaster mechanically. So we'll go ahead and take it apart for painting. Blaster complete and it's functional. Alright, and it's disassembled, so we're going to go ahead and just cover up a few key spots. I want to cover this up with paper and wrap this in tape so it doesn't, and then we'll head out to the paint shop. I like to use for the bolt and the charging handle, I use this Rust-Oleum 2X metallic bright silver. And then for the rest of the gun, I prefer the satin finish because I think on the plastic it gives the inadequate look. Anyway, so I use this satin Supermax Krylon. It sticks to plastic real well. So I'm going to tape those up and hang these parts individually and spray them. Nice light coats because you don't want to build up too much paint. Alright, we'll see in a little while. Alright, so I came back from the paint shop and I finished it all up. So, and I glued these rails in place after I painted it. There's one that's longer than the others that'll go on the left side here. Make sure you don't accidentally put it in on the top because it'll fit, but that hole is for the front of the scope rail. And let's see, I did 3 light coats on all the parts, and that seems to be enough. Then I painted the numbers on the Henschler white, and I also put a little dab of silver paint there to simulate solder. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed building it and enjoy playing with it later. And that was a stunt because I like you. I don't want to kill you. That blue really shows up well. Alright, that's it. Alright, so don't forget to look for my store on eBay. You can also find the display stand there. I also sell the Henschler's kit separately. And if you have one of my older models, I'll still support it. If you need parts for it, just let me know. And this is what the display stand looks like. It fits down in there, and there, and you can also display it open. And to be watching for my new models, I'll be releasing the DH17 soon. And I already sell the F11D. And more models to come. Happy modeling.